Hey, what's up guys, it's WiseGuyVito here, and today I have an tier list video for you guys, and this one will be on support weapons against the Automaton faction. As always, like, share, and subscribe. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. I greatly appreciate all the love and all the support and all the comments and likes, criticisms and comments thus far, and hopefully with this video we may get to 1,000. That's all because of you guys. But with all that glazing out of the way on you guys, or for you guys, let's get straight into this video. So before we start, let's go over the tiers real quick. S tier would be the meta picks, in my opinion, for level 10 difficulties, and I'll explain why I think that they are really, really good for level 10. A tier is above average. They might have one glaring issue, but you can still kind of run these, or definitely run these, at level 10 difficulties. B tier is average. It's neither good nor bad. They kind of have a weakness. For the most part, very mid-performance. C tier is below average, not really great, in my opinion. Would love to see some buffs to these weapons. And then D tier is the dookie tier. This is the bad tier. Either this support weapon needs a complete rework, or it may not just be a bot weapon. And we'll kind of go over what weapons fall within this category. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the Airburst. From what I saw on the last video for the Terminid, a lot of people could not understand why I put this in S tier. I am now convinced this is the most slept on, underrated support weapon in the entirety of Helldivers 2 right now. I guess people think that this weapon is still within pre-patch days, like launch state Airburst, and it is not. This weapon is very good now. It got a buff, I want to say last year, towards the end of last year, where the frag grenade was buffed and got a buffed in damage. What that means is that it translates, so with that buff to the frag grenade, that transferred over, because they're kind of like the same thing for whatever reason, and like the coding. Every bomblet or like little cluster bomb that it spawns now, like whenever it explodes, because it's an airburst, right? Does that damage of a frag grenade. That's what makes it good. Now, of course, you have to be careful. You can't use this up close, because you will die, along with everything else around you, including your teammates, right? But at medium to long range, this is very, very, very good on all factions. If you can see them from even medium range, like I said, you can take out roaming patrols with this. You can take out Hulks with this. You can take out an entire line of Devastators with this. You can take out turrets with this. You can take out tanks with this. You can take out every Automaton enemy in the game except for Striders. But it's no big deal. You usually take another strat for Striders anyways. You usually take a 380 or a walk-in barrage or a precision strike or 500 kg, usually to handle those enemies regardless. But for not only crowd control, but it's also very good for heavily armored targets. It doesn't say for heavily armored targets, but with proper shot placement, you can kill those things and kill everything else around them. That's what makes it good. For that reason, I'm putting it in S tier. No one can convince me otherwise. And the background gameplay that I am showing with this tier list, you will see how good this thing is. It is very, very good. The only drawback to it is that you cannot use it in close range. But you have other stratagems at your fingertips. But I would not consider that to be necessarily a weakness. It's just something that's built into the weapon. That's just something that's just the design of the weapon. You cannot use this in close range, but on patrols, on bot drops, even when you're trying to soften up like a fortress or an automaton placement, it can kill fabricators. Like, this is a very good weapon. So that's why I'm putting it into the S tier ranking. It is a solid S tier. It's not even in the low end of S tier. It is a solid S tier ranking weapon. You should definitely use it. You should definitely learn how to use it because it does clear waves upon waves upon waves of enemies. It is a very, very, very good weapon to use. So I'm putting it into the S tier. You guys can comment down below about how bad my take is on this, but that is the fact. Fact, F-A-C-T, fact of this weapon is that it does work. Crowd control, heavy armor targets, it does phenomenal. And people closing out of my video because of that simple take without even giving a shred of criticism lets me know that this is a severely slept on and underrated weapon in Helldivers 2. This is probably the most slept on and underrated weapon currently in Helldivers 2. So I'm putting it into the S tier ranking. AMR, fantastic weapon. It's definitely better on bots than on bugs. And it's also really good on Illumina as well, but that's for another video. Does fantastic. Can kill Devastators very, 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 very well. And it does... It just a solid work. It can 2-tap Hulks in the face, I believe. Like 2 or 3 tap Hulks in the face. It's just a fantastic sniper. It's just a phenomenal sniper. Definitely bring it. And if you want to kind of play like that long range game, it's also really good with the hover pack too. If you can kind of get like, good line of sights on things, you can kind of soften up structures as well, or just like automaton placements. It's just a solid support weapon, so you definitely want to bring it, in my opinion, for level 10 difficulty. It's very competitive in the meta right now. Eats is solid as well. It's definitely like the better low cooldown support weapons in the game. Has great team work with it as well, because you can not only drop a rocket launcher for yourself, but you can also drop one for your teammate. Very low cooldown, does great against Hulks. It's just a phenomenal support weapon overall, and it's really good for low cooldown builds. The Commando is really nice to pair with it, but overall, just a phenomenal weapon. You should definitely, or phenomenal support weapon. You should definitely use it on level 10 difficulties. Arc Thrower, it's solid. I kind of wish there was more to it. It's kind of boring right now. Like I said in the past video, I do wish that there was like kind of like a mini game or kind of like a sweet spot where like maybe like the color changes of the arc and then it just arcs everywhere and does like really good damage, and there's like maybe like an overcharge to it to where it does the thing that it does now. I kind of wish it did something more than what it does right now. But otherwise, it's solid. It stuns things. It's great against Devastators. But against like other heavy armor targets, though, not really too great. It's not really great against Striders. It doesn't really do great against tanks either, from my understanding. It's just kind of like just a really solid like Hulk and Devastator destroyer. But other than that's kind of where it falls short at. But it's still really good. You can still use it for level 10s if you want to kind of use more of like a... like if you just want to main a support weapon, you can definitely use this with a jump pack. Jump pack is fantastic for this. Hover pack, I think, is really good with this as well. You have a bevy of different things you can use at your fingertips to kind of pair with this, and it works well. Auto Cannon, probably like one of the best support weapons in the entire game. It's very, very good against the automatons. I mean, like, what's not else to say? Like, it's really good against structures, really good against Hulks, tanks, turrets, even Striders. If you get underneath them and shoot the bay opening, like its little butt or whatever, or like the underside of it, does really good. Great against Devastators, because Devastators are going to be like your main enemy that you're going to be dealing with, in my opinion, even more often than like the little skinny robots. It's just a solid weapon overall. Great animal economy, great reload speed. Even with just by yourself, it has a fantastic reload speed because of the stripper clips. It's just overall just an all-around, just a solid weapon, as I'm putting it into the S tier category. The Emancipator, it's really good against the automatons, in my opinion. I think this is the best exosuit against the automatons currently, just simply because it has autocannons on its side. Really good against Devastators, really good against Hulks, can take out Fabricators, can take out tanks, can take out turrets. It's just solid overall. against Striders it's okay but for the most part against clearing everything else, it does fine work since I'm putting it into the A tier category. Patriot, on the other hand, kind of feels mid. Minigun is minigun is good. Like, don't get me wrong. I just wish the rockets were better. Just overall, like, I just wish the rockets were way stronger than when they currently are right now. They buffed the minigun. I believe they buffed the minigun damage, and they buffed the minigun how much ammo it carries. But the rockets still kind of feel mid. Like, they need to buff the rockets. If they buff the rockets, it probably would be low A or even just a solid A pick. I still believe that the Emancipator would be better. But for the Patriot, Exo Suit, it's just, if it feels very average, very mid in my opinion, in its current state. The Exterminator, not gonna lie, I mean, like, sure, it blinds Devastators and Hulks and the whole 9 yards. I still think that the Exterminator needs to lower armor, like degrade armor. I think that would actually be a really cool mechanic, and you can kind of go into that support role with this weapon. But currently, if you want to run gas in Helldivers 2, you can run the gas strike, you can have gas grenades, you can have the dog breath. All those do way better than the Emancipator does. That's why I think that the Emancipator needs some serious reworks or some serious buffs to it in general. Either it needs to have a massive damage over time increase than what it currently has right now, or its gas needs to be completely reworked to where it works similar to how gas is now, but it's just that much better. It's just way, 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 way better. Because right now, all the other gas, equipment or grenades, they just serve more utility than the Exterminators. That's why I'm putting it into the D tier category. Flamethrower, it's not really a bot weapon in my opinion. It's just not. I mean, like unless you're a masochist, then fine, run it. But for the most part, it's just not a bot weapon. It's more of a bug weapon and an aluminum weapon than anything else. But yeah, especially on the Incendiary Core. Oh my God! If you run this against the Incendiary Core, you're really masochist, because I think that the Incendiary Core is very difficult to run against, especially if you're trying to be up close and personal with the Incendiary Core, because that's where they like to thrive. And even then, with fire resist armor, you're not. It's like, you do have a fighting chance, but sometimes you still get one shot. But that's not here nor there. But anyways, Flamethrower, in my opinion, it's not really a good support weapon against the bots. Against other things, it's better, but against bots, it's not that great. Commando, solid A, in my opinion. Just simply because of the rockets. Like, the rockets do like decent damage, but it pairs well with the eats. If you have it with the eats, with the eats Commando, with the eats and Commando combo, it's probably S tier, but by itself, it's just an A tier weapon in my opinion. So that's what I'm putting into the A tier category. Heavy machine gun. Okay, this thing is really good now. This thing is very, very good. I still think it needs it needs a durable damage buff, but even without a durable damage buff, this thing is crazy good. By itself, I do think it's still S tier, but it's on the low end of S tier because the sheer amount of damage that you can do with this thing. But I will still say that you probably still want to run this with a supply pack. But by itself, though, like, I've ran the heavy machine gun by itself with no supply pack, and I think that it's fine. Like, there are times where you kind of do run out of ammo, and you're kind of like scrounging for ammo or like waiting for the resupply to drop. But it's not mandatory in my opinion, because of the changes that they have made to it, especially with the where bullets were glancing off. That was just dumb. I don't even know why they even did that. But now your shots land now. They're not glancing off at like some random angle now, or even like at an angle that you wouldn't think that a bullet would deflect or ricochet off now. Your shots are actually landing now, and that's what that like the heavy machine gun needed in my opinion. And now it feels really, really good now. I do think that it is the better of the 3 machine guns currently in the entire game, and that's against all of the factions. I do think that it is the better one, but it's very good. Definitely use it on level 10 difficulties with a supply pack. It's like definitely like a top 5 pick in my opinion against the Automaton faction. Machine gun, it's mid. Like it does okay. medium armor pen does great against Devastators, but that's where it kind of ends at. That's why I think that the heavy machine gun is better, because not only can it handle Devastators, it can also handle Hulks, turrets, a lot more, like a wider range, right? Yeah, like you have less ammo for the heavy machine gun, whatever. Like you're still doing like a lot of damage to them. For the machine gun, yeah, like you get more ammo and more mags, or more boxes, I guess, whatever, magazines for it. But it's, it still feels kind of mid in my opinion, so I'm putting it into the B tier category. Quasar Cannon, I'm torn between S tier and A tier. I feel like it's, like, to me, it's A tier, but I can see why people would argue for it to be S tier, because, yeah, you shoot a shot, you can now free roam with it, while you're waiting for it to, like, decrease over time. I think the recoilless is better because of the reload cancel. But, it's fine, like where it's at. I know some people are going to comment, it's S tier all day long and stuff like that. I get that. I'm just torn between. It's definitely high A leading in S. That's where I'll put it for the time being. But it's still a really good support weapon if you use this with like another backpack, like a guard dog, or like the laser guard dog, or like the dog breath. Like those things would probably pair with it very well, because now you have like a little buddy. But by itself though, I would like to see kind of like a decrease to its overall cooldown, but I think it's fine in its current state, for the most part. But I just like the recoilless better, and I feel like the recoilless and this are kind of similar to each other. I just think that the reload cancel of the recoilless just blows it out of the water, in my opinion. But there's some good things about the Quasar. It does have damage. Like the projectile doesn't drop off. It basically just goes in a straight line, which is nice if you're trying to make those long range shots. The recoilless doesn't do that. But in my opinion, the reload for the recoilless is just better than the Quasar. So that's why I'm putting it into the A tier category. Laser cannon. I do think this is actually solid A, in my opinion. Really good against Devastators. If you hit the Hulk's eye, it's really good. Flying ships are actually really good as well. It can take those out very, very quickly. It's just overall just a solid pick against like those type of elite style enemies, and even some heavily armored targets. That's when putting it into the A tier category. Railgun is S tier, in my opinion. This gun is very good now. Really good against turrets. Really good against Hulks. Can one-shot Hulks. If you hit them in the eye, of course. If you can't do that, then 2 nice charge shots to both legs will kill it, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's one really good like overcharge shot. Will take out 1 Hulk leg, and then you can do the same for the other leg as well. Really good against Devastators. This is just like an elite killing buster, right? But other than that, it's just a solid weapon. It has great ammo economy, good reload speed. It's just overall just a great support weapon, so I'm putting it into the S tier category. Recoilless, probably regarded as probably the best support weapon in the entire game right now. It's just very, very good. It's just stupid good. So, just overall, just a phenomenal weapon. Definitely want to bring it on level 10 difficulties. Recon Vehicle, not gonna lie, it's probably like a solid A to low A pick. If you're wanting to, get objectives done really, really quickly, then you can use this. It's just a great like quality of life type of thing where you can you don't have to run everywhere. You can kind of just bring this and just like Humvee everywhere with your friends with a heavy machine gun. Would like to see some more mounted weapons, because it looks like that maybe they may have some more mounted weapons in the future, because there's a machine gun there. Who knows? Like we might get a railgun, or like a grenade, or like a grenade launcher. That would actually be kind of cool. But overall, what it does, like it does the job well, and so that's what I'm putting into the A tier category. It's just kind of just fulfills a really nice niche, but it does it very, very well. The spear. Okay, the spear feels mid to me. Does really good against fabricators, structures, turrets from like a good miles away. This thing can definitely do damage to Hulks. Does well against Striders. I think my only problem with it is that I wish it did more damage, because the ammo economy is not that great. Like just wholesale. I get less shots for something that effectively does the same thing as a recoilless. Like sure, like like you definitely hit your shot, like your shots way more consistently, and that's fine. But I just think that it needs to do way more damage, like way more damage for what it is. Because like you have to sit there, you have to like lock onto the enemy, and then you fire, right? But for long range engagements, though, I do think it does very, very well, right? But until they do some like really good buffs to it, as far as like on the damage side of things, it's gonna kind of feel mid to me because I can just do that with the recoilless and airburster or the airburst rocket. But for the most part, it feels kind of mid in its current state. Stalwart. I see people saying this is like S tier, right? I haven't like against the Illuminate, sure, like it's probably like high A to S, right? That's because it's the Illuminate. Against the Automatons, I don't feel like it's that great. I don't know what the appeal is to the Stalwart. What the Stalwart needs, as far as for a buff, okay, it needs to be a primary. I'm not going to get off this train of it needs to be a primary. End of story. That's it. It acts like a primary. It feels like a primary to me. It needs to be a primary. And it would be like a very good primary, but for the most part, I'd rather bring just a regular machine gun than the actual Stalwart. Like, sure, like you can beam down Devastator heads, like the little tiny bots, stuff like that. You could probably do good damage to like a Hulk that's turned away from you and like its back showing to you. That's all fine and dandy. I'd rather just use the heavy machine gun and like I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. I'd rather just use the machine gun and I have to worry about like shot placement on a Devastator, right? It just feels mid. It just feels mid. At best, it feels mid in my opinion. So that's why I'm putting it into the B tier category. The only buff that it needs is that it needs to be a primary. It's going to be to me, like it just really needs to be a primary. The Wasp, it actually feels really good against Devastators, against Hulks, turrets. It's basically just like a mini spear, but like it does like more like elite busting, elite enemy busting. And that's why I like it a lot. And it's really good against tanks. Not really good against Striders. I would not use it against Striders, but against like other things like turrets and Hulks and Devastators, like I said before. And even then, like if the Devastators are kind of like together, like or like close-ish to each other, one rocket can kill sometimes like 3 or 4 of them at a time, and that feels really good. But I kind of wish it did more against the more heavy armors, or like heavy armor targets. But for the most part, I think it's fine where it is. But yeah, that's what I'm putting into the A tier because to me, it has that one glaring issue to it. The grenade launcher. Okay, so with the hover pack, I think that it's S tier. Okay, with a supply pack, I think that it's S tier. But if we're talking about just by itself, because someone commented on this that I put the grenade launcher in S tier, because by itself, I guess Terminids, I do think that it's still S tier, even without those things. But against automatons, to me, it feels very like it's B, or excuse me, A. It's a solid A tier pick. With the supply pack, with the hover pack, it's here. It's definitely S. I just stem through with the hover pack. Like sometimes I even use this against the incendiary core, and I was doing fine with it, getting lots of kills and clearing objectives pretty fast. It can clear fabricators. It's just an overall just a solid, just elite busting. It can kill Hulks if you hit the grenades behind them. With the hover pack, it's easy because all I can do is fly above them and just shoot down. It's just an overall just a solid like support weapon. It has a good ammo economy as well. But I can see where someone might want to take a supply pack if they're just lobbing shots everywhere and destroying everything. Then you definitely want to bring a supply pack rather than a hover pack. But if you want more, like better shot placement, better vantage points, you'll take the hover pack over the supply pack. But but by itself though, it's a solid A pick in my opinion. So this is my tier list. You guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Would love to hear you guys' opinions on any of these support weapons currently. I had a little rant about the Airburst Launcher because I just was flabbergasted at the amount of just like, well, this weapon is god awful, it's terrible, it's this and it's that. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's not terrible at all. It's very, very good. But I like that type of engagement because it lets me know what you guys think. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I greatly appreciate it. Always like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.